Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the current affairs classes. I hope you all are doing well. So yesterday we have completed 15th to 17th October news analysis. Today I'll be taking up part 1 of 18th to 20th October current affairs. So let's begin with the class. First section we have is the insurance one. You know, right now we are also having proper insurance section for all the insurance related news because the exam is approaching. So all of them becomes they become very important. First in this category we have is that the government has increased the insurance cover for insurance benefit for all the members of the Employees Provident Fund Organization under IRDAI scheme. So you know, all the members who are there getting benefit out of the EPFO, Employees Provident Fund Organization, they automatically get this life insurance cover. So they automatically get the benefit of, they are eligible as well to get the benefit of employees deposit linked insurance scheme. Now what is this deposit linked insurance scheme? It basically wants to secure the family members, it wants to extend social security benefit to the workers, to the government workers, right? So for example, if any such employee unfortunately dies during the active phase of his or her employment, so that the benefit can be extended then to the family member of that person. This is the overall target. Now for this scheme, insurance scheme, government has increased the insurance benefit. So the minimum and maximum, they have been revised. Previously, if you see, the minimum cover was 1.5 lakh. Now you have at least 2.5 lakh, and the maximum cover has been increased to 7 lakhs. So remember, the maximum cover under this has been increased to 7 lakhs. Please remember this. And one more important thing, it is going to be it is going to be effective from the previous date. So retroactively it will be implemented, and the date is 28th April 2024. So it is going to be there in effect from the back date, okay, retroactively from 28th April 2024. So please remember, this has been increased up to 7 lakh. 7 lakh is the maximum under this to be provided, and minimum is 2.5 lakh. These benefits, they will be applicable for 3-year duration. Remember that. So this was about the IRDAI scheme. Please remember 7 lakhs. Next we have IRDAI, the regulator has issued an advisory to all your insurance companies out there, asking them to have a look at their IT network, check their IT systems. Why? Because recently there have been cases of data breaches. So rising threat of cyber security, data breaches, privacy breaches have been there across various industries. A recent case of such data breach has been there at Star Health and Allied Insurance servers. So Star Health and Allied Insurance's servers, they have witnessed data breach on their server. So that compromises with the data of the policy holders. That's why the regulator has asked all the insurance companies to have a look at their IT system so as to avoid any such kind of incidents. Remember this, right? Next one which we have is, so this is again important, remember, Canara HSBC Life Insurance has launched Promise for Future plan. Promise for Future plan has been launched by Canara HSBC. Now what is this Promise for Future plan? It is basically giving you insurance protection, so protection cover plus saving opportunity. So that is kind of an endowment plan, as I have already discussed with you, the difference between a term plan and an endowment plan. A term plan basically gives you the death benefit only. So the assured amount is given to the nominee of the insured person on the occasion of death of that person. But then in endowment plans, along with death benefits, you also get maturity benefits. What are these maturity benefits? Maturity benefits mean that if the insured survives up to the maturity of the plan, in that case, that person is going to receive the assured amount plus any bonus, etc., any additional amount which has been accrued on that plan so far. So these are the two components under endowment plan. So this is one such category. Promise for Future by Canara HSBC. I hope you have understood this, and that's why it has two variants. One is Savings for Future, which is the saving component giving you the maturity benefit, and one is Income for Future, right? So this is protection component, and this is also one of the components. Saving for Future and Income for Future. These two components, variants will be there under this, remember. So this is Promise for Future. It will be providing long-term protection as well as opportunity to benefit from the returns generated out of that policy if the person survives. Okay. So like you have ULIPs, unit linked investment plans, insurance plans, where you also get the savings component. So insurance, is not only about protection cover. Insurance also provides you opportunities to invest, to save for your future. Okay. So this is kind of those plans which we have. So remember, this was about Promise for Future. This plan has been launched by Canara HSBC. Then you have Merrill. Merrill is one of the multinational companies operating in the medical devices segment. Merrill has launched a second phase of Treatment Zaruri Hai campaign. So remember, Treatment Zaruri Hai campaign has been launched by Merrill, and this includes AI generated videos, AI driven personalized videos on awareness, making people aware of the proper timely treatment and therapies to be taken. And personally, if you see, this is important particularly because it has personalized videos and messages from your favorite MS Dhoni, from our favorite MS Dhoni, right? So remember this campaign. This was about the insurance news. I hope all of them is clear to all of you. Please do revise all of them. Insurance news is particularly more important for the upcoming IRDAI examination. Now moving on to the ESI finance and banking news. First one we have is Jio Payments Bank. Jio Payments Bank, which is a subsidiary of Jio Financial Services, it has secured mutual fund distribution license. It has secured mutual fund distribution license from your AMFI, Association of Mutual Funds in India. What does that imply? That implies that now Jio Payments Bank will be able to distribute mutual fund schemes directly without need of any intermediary. So it will be entering into financial services market extensively. It is all set to set its foot in this industry as well, right? So that's how Jio Payments Bank will be able to distribute MF schemes without need of an intermediary. And this is what does that mean. And remember, this license is known as Category 1 Execution Only Platform License. This is known as Category 1 Execution Only Platform License, which allows the distribution of direct mutual fund schemes, as I told you. And the fees per transaction will be there, which has been kept at 2 rupees, remember. Okay, 2 rupees. Fees has been kept at 2 rupees per transaction. I hope this news is clear. So remember, this can be there. Jio Payments Bank has recently received mutual fund distribution license. Next we have, according to S&P Global Ratings, in a report titled Look Forward, Emerging Markets, a Decisive Decade. According to this report of S&P Global, India is set to be the third largest global economy by 2030. India is set to be the third largest global economy by 2030. But there are certain challenges due to rising population which we need to tackle in order to capitalize upon the rising population rather than considering them as liability. So making human capital, creating human capital, providing them with the necessary skills. Also, you can relate these kind of information with the current demographic dividend phase which India is going through. You know what is demographic dividend. So demographic dividend is the phase when a population of a country is maximum in the working age group, that is 15 to 59 years of age. So your population is basically an asset because they are in the working age group. They are not dependent on anyone. Rather, they are generating employment and income for the nation. So in order to capitalize upon this phase, which India is right now going through, we need to impart the market ready skills. We need to make them market ready. We need to impart them with the future skills, apart from the basic facilities and amenities, right? So this is the thing. So remember, India is said to be the third largest global economy according to S&P Global. Then you have Asia Index. Asia Index, which is a subsidiary of BSE, Asia Index has launched a thematic index based on a theme of consumption, which is BSE Premium Consumption. Remember, BSE Premium Consumption. This index has been launched by Asia Index, right? BSE Premium Consumption. Now, what will it do? It will select top companies from the industries operating in, premium consumption market, like lifestyle based companies. They are attracting a lot of consumption expenditure nowadays. So lifestyle, health related companies, they will be tracking their performance. They will be selecting them from BSE 500 index, and they, via this index, this index basically wants to capitalize upon the rising and future consumer market, because consumers, they are spending more. Consumer spending is rising, so they want to capitalize upon this opportunity. That's why this index has been launched. Remember, BSE Premium Consumption by Asia Index, for investors to tap into the future of consumption in the country, as I told you. Okay, this was about ESI and finance. Now moving on to the regulatory bodies news. In regulatory bodies, you have RBI lifting the ban and restrictions on JM Financial Products Limited. So JM Financial Products Limited pe earlier restrictions were imposed in March 2024 due to certain deficiencies in the working operations. But now these restrictions, they have been lifted by RBI. It will now be able to finance, to provide its services of financing against the equity, against the shares and debentures, right? So it will now be able to resume its business. Okay, so remember, JM Financial Products pe the ban has been lifted. Then you have certain fact regarding India's services exports. So according to RBI data again, India's total exports of software services particularly, they have increased and they have risen to $205 billion. Okay, they have increased to $205.2 billion to be specific. Remember, $205.2 billion during 23-24 from the previous level. So software services exports are rising. And one more important fact which you need to remember here is that the country which has emerged as the top destination for India in software exports, where we are exporting the most, is United States. Remember the country as well, is United States. I hope you will remember both of these facts. You can also remember the figure $205.2 billion, and US emerges as the largest, as the most favorable destination for these software exports from India. Software services exports, remember. Okay, this was about the regulatory one. Moving on to the banking news. Kotak Mahindra will be buying Standard Chartered Bank's personal loan business. So Kotak Mahindra will be buying Standard Chartered's personal loan business. This personal loan business will provide Kotak Mahindra a new segment to spread its scope and business into, because personal loan segment is one of the largest growing one right now, particularly as we are talking about the personal loan segment, so retail loan segment, right? Kotak Mahindra will get an opportunity to expand its personal loan business here. So remember, Kotak Mahindra will be buying the personal loan business of Standard Chartered Bank. Then you have Indian Overseas Bank. Indian Overseas Bank has launched Mahila Shaksham scheme. Indian Overseas Bank has launched Mahila Shaksham scheme. This is basically to finance individual women from the self-help groups. Self-help groups, have played an important role in empowering women, also in empowering the rural economy, in building up the rural economy. These self-help groups, they collaborate their funds, they pool the funds, and then they lend to each other as members of the self-help group in time of need. But this scheme of Indian Overseas Bank, the Mahila Saksham scheme, is aimed to finance, provide loan assistance, provide loan or credit, whatever you call it, to individual women members of these self-help groups. It will be more empowerment to them, right? And what is the limit? The credit support will be up to 10 lakh rupees to the individual members. Remember, this is not for the entire self-help group. This is for individual members from one self-help group. Okay, 10 lakh rupees, remember. And this is in line with the Ministry of Rural Development's Lakpati Didi Yojana as well, which is designed to improve the financial standing of women self-help group members. Okay. This was about the banking news. Now moving on to the national news. In national news, we have Labour and Employment Minister is set to launch eShram, one-stop solution for unorganized workers. You already know about eShram, right? We have covered them a lot of time. eShram basically is a platform which provides easy access to all the government services as well as social security benefits, particularly to the unorganized sector workers. This is one step towards formalization of the economy, because when you belong to the unorganized sector, you don't get these social security benefits, right? So this is the portal, this is the scheme via which government wants to empower the unorganized sector, because recently if you see, still more than 85% of Indian economy is informal one, and a lot of members, lot of workers are there in the unorganized sector. So making them part of the mainstream business, also extending to them the social security benefits, will help them in living a good standard of life with secured future for them and for their families as well. So this is for the unorganized sector. Next, what we have is, so your Udan scheme, you know, regional connectivity scheme, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. Udan scheme, as you must be knowing, was launched in 2016. The aim of this scheme, as the name only is suggesting, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. So this is to make air travel, flight travel affordable to the common man. That's why this scheme was launched. And initially the charges, air travel charges, ticket charges, they were capped, adding up to 2500 rupees per hour of flight, like this. So this basically aims to make air travel more affordable to the common man. Now this is in news because it has completed its 8 years successfully. That's why remember, the regional connectivity scheme Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik has been in news because it has completed 8 years of its launch on 21st October 2024. It was launched by Ministry of Civil Aviation in 2016, as I have told you. So far, this scheme has been able okay, just a second, just give me a second. All right. So far, if you see, 34 states and UTs. So including UTs, 34 states and including UTs, this has been covered under the scheme. Also 10 airports, they have also been operationalized in the Northeast region in addition to 2 heliports under this scheme. So this has made regional connectivity via airport network and flight travel very affordable to the common man. Then next you have Prime Minister has launched the Karma Yogi Saptah, National Learning Week. Remember, okay, on 19th October, please remember this, Karma Yogi Saptah, National Learning Week at Dr. Ambedkar International Center in New Delhi. Dr. Ambedkar International Center in New Delhi. What is the aim? This is to make, particularly this is for civil servants, the bureaucrats, to make the civil servants future ready, empowering them with the future ready, with the future technologies, and making them basically future ready to deal with any contemporary challenges, because you know that the bureaucrats are the backbone, right, of nation's development. Then next you have is Indian Institute of Wheat and Barley Research at Karnal. Now this is again very, very important. Indian Institute of Wheat and Barley Research Karnal has started distribution of seeds of 30 new varieties they have developed. These are disease resistant. Also they are helping in more productivity of the crop. So 30 new varieties, remember, of wheat which are disease resistant, also having capacity of more production. They have started distribution of these varieties. Also barley variety DWRV 137 is one of such included in the approved varieties of wheat. So remember, barley variety DW3V137 is also one of the approved varieties. So remember this name. And one more important thing, this can also be used as a straw for animal feed. So it is also helpful for the animal husbandry sector apart from agriculture or farm sector. I hope this is clear. Moving on to the next news. So you have Minister of Civil Aviation has unveiled the aviation park within the premises of ministry in New Delhi. Okay. Now this aviation park, it will be showcasing evolution of India's civil aviation sector, also showcasing the different aircraft models. Then you have Minister of External Affairs launching the second edition of art exhibition, Silent Conversation from Margins to the Center in New Delhi. So this second edition of the art exhibition, Silent Conversation from Margins to the Center, has been inaugurated in New Delhi by External Affairs Minister, and this particularly was organized by National Tiger Conservation Authority in collaboration with Shankala Foundation, NHRC and International Big Cat Alliance. And this also has exhibitions for tiger conservation efforts and all, right? And a book, remember, titled Hidden Treasures, India's Heritage in Tiger Reserves. Hidden Treasures, India's Heritage in Tiger Reserves has also been launched, plus one magazine called as Big Cats has also been released. So remember these three things: one art exhibition, one book and one magazine. Then you have the Union government sanctioning 3 pilot projects. Union government has sanctioned 3 pilot projects for use of hydrogen in steel production. Use of hydrogen in steel production. So basically, if you look at the current affairs, if you have been following current affairs for a quite good period of time, you must have been noticing that decarbonizing the steel making process is also one of the priorities we have, because the steel industry, iron and steel industry, is the backbone of all the industries, right? Backbone of industrial development and economic development. So we cannot cut down on that production. But what we can do is we can decarbonize, we can reduce the emissions from these industries in order to achieve our final aim of net zero emissions target. That's why this is in news. So 3 projects, they have been approved by the union government, and they will be having these 3 components. One, they want to produce DRI, direct reduced iron, using 100% hydrogen in the vertical shafts. They also trying to use hydrogen in the blast furnaces to reduce the use of coal consumption in the plants. Then also injecting hydrogen in vertical shafts, right? So these are the 3 components. And the projects, 3 projects are these. First, Matrix Gas and Renewable Limited, remember, Simplex Castings Limited and Steel Authority of India Limited at Ranchi. So this one is at Bhubaneswar, this one is at Bhilai, okay, IIT Bhilai, and the third one, Steel Authority of India ka, is at Ranchi. So please remember these 3 locations and these 3 projects. Then you have Union Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment launching 21st Divya Kala Mela at Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. So 21st Divya Kala Mela has been launched at Madhya Pradesh, and this has been organized by Department of Empowering of Persons with Disabilities under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So this Divya Kala Mela, basically these kind of initiatives, they aim to showcase these skills, the craftsmanship skills, other skills of persons with disabilities, right? So remember, 21st Divya Kala Mela has been launched at Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. Then Prime Minister has launched under this scheme, Udan scheme, 3 airports, okay? 3 airports have been announced. So please remember their name, 3 airports. First one is Rewa in Madhya Pradesh, Rewa in Madhya Pradesh. Rewa is also another name for Narmada River, okay? So Rewa in Madhya Pradesh, Ambikapur in Chhattisgarh and Saharanpur in UP. These are the 3 airports inaugurated by Prime Minister under Udan scheme. Also, one more important fact here we have, under this scheme when it was launched in 2016, the Udan scheme, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. So the first flight under this scheme was from Shimla to Delhi. Remember this. Then you have a constitution bench of Supreme Court of India has upheld the constitutionality of Section 6A of Citizenship Act 1955. What does this Section 6A of Citizenship Act 1955 mean? It provides for Bangladesh people, any immigrants coming into India, residing in Assam, coming from Bangladesh, it provides a mechanism for them to get Indian citizenship, right? To get Indian citizenship. This is Section 6A. So the constitutionality of this section has been upheld by the Supreme Court. That means it is not in violation with the constitutional values. So this will be in force. And what is a constitution bench? Constitution bench is a bench where, you know, at least 5 judges are there. So at least 5 judges are there. There can be more than 5, but at least 5. This is what do we call as a constitution bench. It is a very powerful bench, right? The landmark cases, if you see Keshwan and Bharti, etc., they all have been delivered by constitution benches only. So remember Section 6A of Citizenship Act 1955. This was about the national news segment. I hope all of this is clear to everyone. Now moving on to the state news category. Odisha is all set to tackle the possible disasters of cyclone Dana. So you know IMD has predicted that the landfall of the cyclone has to be there. So remember the name of the cyclone. This much only is important, Dana, and the states to be affected, Odisha and West Bengal. States concerned, Odisha and West Bengal, and primarily Odisha. Then you have Assam CM Hemant Biswa Sharma has launched Mission Basundhara 3.0. Mission Basundhara 3.0 in Guwahati. This is basically to provide land rights to the indigenous people in Assam. Okay, this is to provide land rights to the indigenous people of Assam. For this, they will be digitizing all land related services, and they will be publishing maps so that this becomes helpful for the indigenous people, and their land rights they can be granted to them. Remember. Then you also have Assam announcing that it will be having a National Cyber Forensic Laboratory. So remember, they can ask you, National Cyber Forensic Laboratory recently in news has been associated with which state? So Assam has announced to have it to empower the administration with more state-of-the-art technologies and research and development and equipments and network for catering to the cyber security threats, dealing with the cyber security threats. Then one very important news coming from Haryana, state of Haryana, that the Haryana government has announced it will be providing free dialysis services to all the patients in the state suffering from any kidney diseases. Okay. Also, the government is committed to buy every grain produced by farmers in Haryana at the MSP. Every grain, whatever it be. Then you have pink alarms. Pink alarms, they have been installed in the government-run district hospital and medical colleges in Datia, MP. This is one of the important steps. Pink alarms, they are emergency alarms. They can be used to, they can be pressed during an emergency if there is any threat to the life and safety of women workers there, right? All the women or any other vulnerable person out there. So this is to ensure their security and safety. This is good initiative, right? And it particularly comes from this idea as a brainchild of the district collector Sandeep Makin. So remember this. Just give me a second. All right. Next we have is Kerala Kerala government has launched Citizen Sentinel application. Citizen Sentinel application. You know, through this, the citizens or public, they can upload any photograph or video of traffic violations, traffic rule violations in the state, in the next gen Parivahan app. That can be done. This is to ensure that the traffic safety rules are not violated and to make sure that public also participates in this thing. That is a great initiative. So this is how do we utilize technology, right, for effective governance and administration. Remember, it was developed by National Informatics Center. Okay, it was developed by National Informatics Center, and photos and videos up to 8 MB of any rule violation can be uploaded here, where using the Citizen Sentinel application, okay, in the Parivahan app. Then you have Chief Minister Siddaramaiah from Karnataka has announced that all the scheduled tribe residential schools and Raichur University, they will be named after Maharshi Valmiki in the state. Maharshi Valmiki, you know, is very celebrated rishi in Indian mythology and also known and celebrated for his work of Ramayana, right? So they are planning to rename them on the name of Maharshi Valmiki. Also, Karnataka School Education, they have launched Shiksha Copilot. Shiksha Copilot. This is AI-powered digital assistant. It will be helping teachers in research projects and all to make learning experience more effective for the students, basically. Remember, so Shiksha Copilot belongs to Karnataka School Education and Literacy Ministry. They have launched it. Then you have Uttarakhand Madrasa Board. They are planning, Uttarakhand Madrasa Board, they are basically planning to introduce Sanskrit education as one of the optional subjects in over 400 madrasas across the state, Uttarakhand. Sanskrit education. So remember, not compulsory one, optional subject. They want to streamline the education imparted in these madrasas with the mainstream education and make them familiar with the mainstream syllabus as well as languages. So that is an optional subject they are planning to roll out. Then you have World Bank as well as Asian Development Bank. They will be committing a fund of $1,600 million for the phase 1 development of Amravati, capital of Andhra Pradesh, right? So you know, World Bank has been there, committed towards the providing financial assistance loan for the development of Amravati capital. But Asian Development Bank is also there. So please remember, World Bank as well as Asian Development Bank, they will be assisting $1,600 million for phase 1 development of Amravati capital, and rest of the funding will come from the government. Okay, central government will also be providing funding for this. So remember this. This was about the national and state news. So far, whatever we have discussed, I hope all of this news is clear to you. If you still have any doubts, you can always ask me. You can also ask me in the comment section. I'll be responding there. So these were certain news. Now from the international news segment, I will be resuming in the part 2 of this class today only, because you know, class otherwise becomes very lengthy and it would be effective for you as well to go through the class if it is of shorter duration, right? So that is it for this class. We will be resuming from international news segment of 18th to 20th October in part 2 of this class, which will be held today only. Thank you so much. Till then, have a great day. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.